Welcome to my channel again. So this is real, raw. I promise that this is going to be as real as possible. I'm going to share everything that I should share about my journey from when I started out with God till date, right? But I don't want it to be so long, so I'm going to break it down to like a series, so different short videos. So this is part 1, right? So I think it's a 7-part series, but let's see if I can what's the word? Let's see if I can squeeze everything to one video. Okay, so my parents were Christians, so I started out as a Christian, but by inheritance. When I say inheritance, I mean they tell me, say I be Christian. This is my attempt in speaking pidgin. I don't know if I'm good at it. So my parents told me I was a Christian. So for as long as I can remember, I've been a Christian. But I didn't really understand so many things on personal relationship, intimacy, growing, becoming matured, studying my Bible, so many different aspects of being a good Christian, like growing in God, right? And getting more intimate, getting closer, walking with God, right? So my prayer life was, so let me fast forward, so I knew I was always drawn to God in my, let's say, primary years, primary school. I like to go for mass. I was always drawn to that idea and the concept of God, having someone close to you, having someone that will never leave you or forsake you. I was drawn to that concept. I didn't understand so many things, like when things go your way, when things don't go your way, what it means and stuff like that. But let's leave that for now, right? So the next stage was I got to secondary school. I got a little bit carried away with the social life, being a young girl, right? But I was always still drawn to God. For the longest, I remember that I always just wanted to get to know Him better, talk to Him. But I didn't know how to go about it. Okay. So I decided to try God, I think in year 3, like 300 level, that's year 3. I decided to try God year 3 in university, and because I've tried so many things and it wasn't working, so I said, okay, do you know what, let's try God, right? So I decided to try God. I was always drawn, like I said, so I had back and forth in between. So I know that as a child of God, there is a back and a forth season where you say, oh, God is you I know today, then tomorrow you don't know again. Next week, you know God. When you need something, you know Him. When you get what you want and you're comfortable, you get carried away with environment, lifestyle, social life, whatever, and you kind of slip up again, and then back, and then you hide, and then it's a back and forth season, so, and nobody really discusses this. And then a lot of times you can see that sometimes in some churches, people are judged extremely. Like you see someone that say, okay, you see sister, let's say sister Judy, or you see Charles, or you see, I don't even know which name I'm going to use in church, says, I want to give my life to Christ. And that first week, that second week, they're ginger, they're motivated. And then motivation motivation will now drop. And then when the motivation drops, forgive my English, church folk will judge you. People that are not really aware, they will judge you. They will say, oh, you're backslided. Oh, you've done this, oh, you've done that. And that will push you further away. In a lot of cases, will push you further away, and then you lose that soul. So I want to tell you now, and I'm going to say this, there is no perfection in your walk and the process of becoming everything that God has created you to be as His child. There is no perfection. When you give your life to Christ, you are not perfect. You are not going to become perfect overnight. Let us just clear it now. See, when you give your life to Christ, you still have to make up your mind to go out into the world and start to learn how to live for Him. And it's going to take time. You're going to have to give up so many things. And it's not going to be overnight. You're going to struggle in some of the things that you're going to have to give up. It's going to take, some people it will take years. Some people it will take 6 months. Some people it will take a whole lifetime, 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, 15 years, depending on the person, depending on the journey, before you become fully matured, fully grown as a child of God. But when you give your life to Christ, the important thing to note is that you made that decision. And when you make a mistake, the important thing to hold on to is God. So I digress. Let me go back to my journey. So in my journey, I had a whole back and forth stage which lasted for years. Because baby girl is stubborn. Baby girl likes to do things her way. God will tell you something, you say no, I want to do it my way. And I like to hold on to things that I'm comfortable with, things I like, people that I like. God will say, leave this person. You will not agree. You will do stubborn head. You will hold on to the person. I don't know if this what I'm saying is connecting to somebody, but if God is telling you or leading you to let go of some relationship, let go of some environments, let go of some character flaws, let go of some habits, and you're holding on to it, you will not grow as a Christian. And I said it with so much love. You will remain where you are. And if that's what you want, okay. But if you're someone that wants to grow in your intimate relationship with God, you want to walk with God, you want to get closer to God, then you're going to have to start to practically, one step at a time, one day at a time, one decision at a time, one habit after the other, start to walk towards God, closer to Him, trusting that His Spirit will lead you and help you to be able to be more like Him. Because there is no point in us saying we are Christians if at the end of the day there's no difference between us and everyone else and everything else in the world, right? And if we are not more like Him, we cannot be perfect. Please, I'm not calling this video or creating this video to say you have to be perfect, you have to be perfect. You cannot be perfect too, but you can get closer. Struggled with the process of transformation. What is the process of transformation? In this video, you hear me say back and forth a lot. That is the back and forth stage where there is the spirit you struggling with the flesh you and the culture you and the social animal you and every other part of you that you've had before you gave your life to Christ. All of them are going to be clashing together. So some days you find that you are spirit-filled, Holy Ghost-filled, ready to go to church, ready to pray to God, ready to talk to God, ready to spend time with God. And there are some days that you are like, hey girl, hey, where are we going to? Where are we hanging out? Flesh-filled. What are we drinking? I don't know, you're just in your flesh, right? You're just doing everything that is contrary to the kingdom, and you're all for that, right? You don't want to hear anything. In fact, you hear the Spirit of God talking to you and you be like, chill, don't worry, it's okay, I will ask for forgiveness. And we have so many Christians that are in this stage. They've been in this stage for years. Don't worry, I know I'm a sinner, God will forgive me. Yes, God will forgive you. And this is a no judgment circle. God will truly forgive you. But there is something better. There is a better way to live, right? So let's keep that for later, okay? For now, we're going to talk about the process of transformation. And this is a process where you become consistent with your relationship with God. So when you give your life to Christ, what's the number one thing you want to do? Make sure that you build consistency in the amount of times you talk to God. So you can, when I first started, I used to pray every once in a while when I'm gingered, when something happened, when I want to bind and cast, as in Nigeria. But then I decided in 2019 that I was going to get more serious about my fellowship time. Every morning I must pray. If I don't pray, in fact, I've not started that day. That day must start with prayer. And I saw a significant change, right? And before then, it was more of back and forth seasons. My prayer life was not consistent. I had not committed to a consistent time where I pray. Now, when I committed to a consistent time when I pray, I realized that some things, okay, let me say the first thing that changed. The first thing that changed is that the desire to sin was less. Second thing that changed is that habits that were not aligned with my walk in the faith, just my relationship with God, the kingdom, everything. The desire to do them was less. I had more clarity, more peace, more rest, all of that. And it does not mean that in the whole of that space, so since I decided, that means I've never, ever, gone back or done something I'm not supposed to do or stuff like that. No, this is not a perfection video. This is a disclaimer. I am not perfect. I'm still a sinner like everybody else, right? But I have noticed that when I'm more consistent in my relationship with God, in my fellowship time, I have seen a better value system that aligns with Jesus, right? With Jesus Christ, right? So I advise that if you give your life to Christ and you want to grow, you must build a personal, intimate relationship with God. How do you do this? By making out time every day to talk to God. Simple. So I hope this video helps you. More videos will be coming up. Thank you for listening. Bye.